Is $10 million business worth actually losing your family? I thought about this question a lot. And honestly, I don't think most people ask it until they already are too far in. Because when you start building a business, especially as an actual man, you tell yourself, this sacrifice is temporary. This season is necessary. This is needed. Once I make enough money, I will have time. And maybe sometimes that's true. But sometimes you wake up one day and realize the business has grew and the relationships didn't grow. Your revenue went up, but your closeness with your family didn't. Your company became stronger, but your home became actually weaker. And I think this conversation matters because most people online only show the one side. They show revenue, cars, growth, and freedom. Nobody really talks about missing dinners, being mentally present but emotionally absent, being with your actual family while thinking about actual work, feeling guilty while working, feeling guilty while actually resting. And I have had periods where business took too much. I have a wife, I have 2 daughters, and a fatherhood is harder than actual business itself. Business follows systems. Children don't follow systems. Relationships don't follow systems and scripts. And if I'm honest with you, there were periods where I felt like I was trying to build a future for my family while becoming unavailable to them in the present. That's a dangerous trait because eventually you have to ask, what are you actually building all of this for? That's what this video is all about. Not anti-ambition, not anti-money. I want wealth, I want to build. I want to create something that lasts generations, but not at the cost of becoming successful publicly and disconnected privately. And sometimes we really have to ask ourselves another question. You have to look at it and ask yourself, well, I want the riches. I want to build a business because the business will take care of my family. And that's completely fine. I completely understand your agenda. I completely thought the same. But another question is, are you building the business for yourself? Are you really building the business for yourself? Because maybe you are taking this great sacrifice without realizing that your family doesn't really care so much about the business, they care more about you. And then you need to also understand the expectations around that. What does caring about somebody really means? What does caring really means? What does it actually look like inside of your family? You maybe have kids, you maybe don't have kids. Maybe you have a spouse, maybe you don't. Maybe you have a partner, maybe you have a girlfriend, maybe you have a wife. But it really does come down to really understanding the expectations. Really looking at your situation right now with your family and looking at the expectations that everybody expects from you. What do you expect from your family and what does your family really expect from you? And then go from there. So why does the title of this video matter so much? I think a lot of founders, including myself, secretly believe if I just push harder now, I will make up for it later. Later I will spend more time, later we will travel, later we will connect, and later we will relax. But relationships don't work like compound interest. You cannot just disappear emotionally for years and expect closeness to stay intact. Business compounds and relationships compound too, but neglect compounds as well at the same time. And that's where people really start getting hurt. And in my personal life, in my personal journey, I had times when I strongly believed that, yes, I will build the business first, and later when the business is growing, I have the finances, I have everything in place, I will spend more time with my family, we will travel, we will do more things together, I will spend more time with my children, I will take them to do more things with me personally. Also, I will take my wife out more, we're gonna have dinner dates and we're gonna have late night dates and everything. But then you have to understand, even when a business is growing, it doesn't always work out as you thought. Because at the end of the day, you still have a business to run. And one thing that I want to tell you is this. Your relationships are not waiting until the business is growing, because you are consistently in the relationship. I want to repeat that. Your relationships will never wait until your business grows, because the relationship happens every single day. Your children cannot just push a pause button while they are growing and say, well, we're going to resume growing when the business is fully growing. Your children are still growing every single day, with the business or without the business, with the business growing to the highest potential or not. Your children are still growing. And the sad part that I really realized at that stage was this, that if you are with your kids will adapt with you being there. If you are not there for your children, right, then your children also will adapt while growing up that you are not there. And it will be totally fine. It will totally be okay with you not being there. But then when they are growing up and when they have already, let's say they're adults, you can't now challenge them and say, well, I want you to be really sensitive with me, share your personal life with me. Let's have these private moments together where we are like friends. You can't ask for that because you weren't there when they actually needed you. They have adapted to that season when you are not there. Now you have a season when you are there and you want everything to be just like it was at the beginning when they were born. Or maybe you wanted everything to be perfect. And that's not the case, because it's not going to be like that. And I think that's the hardest realization for me personally, to really realize that it doesn't work always how we expect things to work. We also expected that the business will grow in a year one, but it never did. We also expected that in a couple months we will start to see the revenue coming in because we have a couple clients aligned maybe, but it didn't happen. There's a lot of things not happening how we plan them to actually happen. And so you also have to be ready at the same time to understand this. Understand that I will spend time later. Maybe that later doesn't come and later you don't have the time to spend with them because they already have adapted themselves, understanding that you are not there when they actually needed you. So why do you feel like it's normal for you to walk back like, hey, nothing has happened? So that expectation is really necessary here. So what do you lose when you really lose a family? People think you lose time, but no, you don't lose time. You lose something much deeper than time. You lose shared moments, trust, inside jokes, special moments, connections, love. You stop becoming a part of each other's daily lives. Kids stop expecting you. Your partner stops bringing things to you. You slowly become operational actual roommate. That scares me more than losing money, because money can come back. Time doesn't. Presence also doesn't come back. And childhood also doesn't come back. You can't, when somebody's 20, you can't say, well, let's just go back to the times when you were actually a child. Let me just take you out for an ice cream and an actual movie. Let me get you some popcorn and let's just bring those times back. Hold on there. That time has passed already. You can just bring time back and say, now let's just actually get back to a part where you were actually growing up, because you have lost that. So when you lose actual family, you don't just lose time. You lose everything that happens within the actual time itself. It's like you don't just have time lost because you lost time. You lost everything that time actually gives you. Same as your lifeline. If you look at your 75 years, it's not just you lose 75 years when you pass away. You have lost entirely all the memories and everything else with it. So it's not just the time we lose. We lose more than time. We lose what time could actually give us, but didn't give us because we chose a different path. Why founders feel misunderstood. This is the next part that I want to discuss. This one hits me personally. Founders often feel misunderstood because you carry pressure, clients, team, revenue, responsibility. And sometimes you think to yourself, they just don't understand what I'm actually carrying, what I'm going through. But then your family thinks you don't understand what we need. And both sides are right. That's where conflict really begins. Your wife doesn't necessarily want more money. Sometimes she wants your presence, safety, attention, partnership, and love. Your daughters don't care about your monthly recurring revenue or your team. They care if you are there for them. And that realization changed how I actually think about things. So sometimes maybe your wife doesn't need necessarily more money. She needs maybe that you are there for her. Maybe that you can speak to her. Maybe that you can listen to her. Maybe that she can share something with you. Your daughters most of the times really don't care about how much money you have. They care if their father is really there for them. One of the things I always remember, I was sitting with my daughter, and my daughter told me, "Oh, Daddy, I feel so happy that you are here with us today sitting. I feel happy sitting with you." And that kind of hit me so hard, because for me it was like, I need to make this, because then, like, my kids will look up to me and things will happen differently. I need to make this happen. And I thought, like, my kids also will be happy when they can have more things, right? And when they have more options in life. But then when my daughter told me, "I feel happy that you're just sitting with me here today," it kind of hit me really hard, because what I thought she wanted, and what I thought personally what the future should look like for her, completely something different. Your perception is completely different to their perception. And this is where the conflict really starts. And I really there's a blame on this one, that I personally didn't set the right expectations from the beginning. You need to set the right expectations where you understand exactly what everybody expects from you, what you should expect from them, what they want and what they don't want. In that way, you have actual conditions around, and you have an actual room to work with. Because when you don't understand this, you are kind of shooting blanks. You are basing the entire reality based on how you see it, based on your perception. And most of the times, it's incorrect. The same with the business, like I already mentioned. We thought the business is going to be growing the year 1, and it wasn't. Now it's year 2, 3, 4, and it's still not to where we actually thought it's going to be. The real problem is actually not the ambition. This is also important to understand. I don't believe business destroys families. I think lack of systems destroy families, because this is what I realized. Most founders have no systems at home, no expectations, no calendar, no communication, no rituals, no structure. And most founders also have no systems in actual business, which means business expands endlessly. It takes your evenings, your weekends, your attention, your energy, until nothing is actually left. Then family becomes whatever time remains. And that's what's really dangerous. When I look at most of actual business owners, sometimes you look at their business and they don't have the right systems in the business. So you can't really expect them to also have the right systems in family, or the right systems around their actual health. Because most business owners, successful business owners, are obese. They are overweight, right? And that's because they don't have the right systems, not only in the business, but in their personal life and in their family life. So in order for you to really manage everything perfectly, you need to think about actual systems inside of your family. Schedules, calendar, rituals, everything has to be scheduled to the actual point. Now, you may think, well, I don't want to live like an actual robot. But because you are running a business, if you don't schedule those things in, if you don't have rituals, if you don't have a calendar, if you don't have a timeline, your business will eat that time, because nothing got actually scheduled for that time. And that's where the problem really starts to begin, is there is nothing scheduled for your actual family. And all that schedule is given to one thing that matters the most to you currently, which is your business. And yes, most of you said, no, my children also matter. Yes, they do matter, but not so much as your business, because you mostly focus on the actual business. If your kids would matter a lot, you would give them all the attention and you help them to grow, right? Because this really is going to hurt you. I know it's going to hurt you, but this is the truth. And it's the same for me. We give all our time to the business because that's what we currently love the most. We love our business. We love everything we want to do. We want to grow the business. And yes, we keep telling ourselves once the business will be growing, once we have a lot of time, we give it to the family. So that means your business has become the number one priority than your actual family. That's why there is no time given to your family, okay? I want you to be real with this. So a solution for this is having systems inside of your family. Schedules, calendars, rituals, communication, the entire thing. Because that will help you to have your time organized around your family as well. So then you can actually have business time and family time. And it doesn't have to be day in, day out. You can schedule it so everybody's happy. That comes down to the actual expectations again. So what does an actual healthy family structure looks like? I started thinking about family differently, not emotionally, but operationally. Family deserves systems too, not robotic systems, but protective systems. For example, date night every week, non-negotiables. Not like if your time is there, you can schedule. Like kids' night, dedicated time, like where you have no phone, no work presents, weekly family meetings, simple questions like how are you feeling, what you need, what can be improved, what can we do, household operations, right? Cleaning responsibilities, planning, expectations. This all helps you to reduce conflict. Now you maybe look at this and say, well, I'm not kind of looking to clean a house, because in the meanwhile actually you can do much more important stuff than just cleaning a house. Okay, then get an actual cleaner in the house, okay? Get a cleaner that does the actual draws for you and your actual family. If you are earning enough money and you can afford it, then that's what you exactly should be doing. You should have somebody that's doing all the draws, that takes all the kind of house operation from your actual family. Because that's where also usually the problem begins, when your wife starts to feel like she's the actual cleaner inside of the home, okay? So if you get an actual somebody that does that for you, great. You take off the pressure from your family. So this type of structure in a family has to be actually done with the right systems, okay? So I mean, if you look at it and you say, hey, I want to work on my relationships with my wife, we should go out for a date night, we should plan trips together, we should do things together, then these things should be sit down, you and your wife, you should sit down and plan your calendar ahead together. What can you do together, with kids or without kids, or just two of you, okay? Because this will help you to schedule these things in, and then when business opportunities come around you, you can schedule your business around that as well, while still protecting your time with your actual family. Same with the kids. Maybe you want to take them out for a movie, maybe you want to take them to the roller coasters, maybe you just want to take them just to have a walk in a park, right? All of this has to be scheduled. Because in my personal life, I never scheduled this, and that was the main problem. I was always kind of, okay, I will take them out when I just finished the call. When I finish the sales call, I will take them out. After the sales call, I was like, oh, I just got an email, I have to respond to this. Then already was late night. Like, you can't take children out now during night because it's time for bed. And this was consistently happening. Like, hey, honey, do you want to actually go out for date night next week? Yeah, let's do it. Awesome, let's do it. Never scheduled in. The time came, my wife got ready, wanted to go out. I got busy, scheduled all with sales calls. That day was busy, entirely scheduled with sales calls. Now my wife's calling, hey, are you still showing up? Like, hey, I can't because I have sales calls. Because I never scheduled things, I always gave all the other time, non-scheduled time, to my business. And so when I never found the priority to schedule things with my family, that's where the thing went south. So for this not to happen to you, I strongly recommend you to really start scheduling things in. Non-negotiables. Non-negotiables. Not when your business allows, because your business will never allow you and never give you the time to spend freely. You need to schedule this in. If you don't, that's when you are almost losing your family, okay? So start scheduling, because systems really matter. So the next thing is managing actual expectations. This changed a lot of things for me. Most people never talk about expectations, but you need to ask, what does my wife really expect from me? What do I expect from her? What do my daughters actually need? What do I need? And then write it down and talk about it. Because expectations hidden become resentments. People cannot win games they don't know the rules for. You need to know the rules that you're actually playing with. You need to know how often you can actually spin the dice, how often you can really close the eyes. You need to know. Because if you don't know, then one day you will just get a list for all the things that you could be doing but you didn't do, and then there's the consequence at the end. So the best thing that I currently recommend you to do is sit down with your family. If you have sons, daughter, or maybe you just have a spouse or a partner, and write down, what does she really expect from you? What do you expect from her? What does the actual life expectation look like? What does the daily expectation look like? What does the weekly expectation look like? What does the monthly expectation look like? What does it actually look like for both of you? Then sit down and come up with actual ground rules of how can you make sure that those expectations are being met. And this is exactly what's going to help you to manage expectations. Because if you don't set the expectations, you're just playing a losing game. So this is the question I have asked myself a lot of times. Will business grow faster when you ignore your family? Short answer, sometimes, temporarily. But long term, I actually think the opposite. Because unstable personal life creates mental noise, guilt, stress, poor decisions, burnout, reactive behavior, bad leadership. When your home is stable, your business becomes also stronger. Clarity transfers, peace transfers, energy transfers. Business is not isolated. So you have to look at this from two perspectives. One perspective, what would happen if I currently break up with my family, right? I would go all in the business. Yes, maybe for the first couple months, the business would grow faster. You would really feel great, like you get a lot of time, you invested and everything's great. It's like the relationship that you had but don't have because you broke up. Now you're like hey, I have a lot of time and I can do more things. And then the pain starts to catch up with you. When you start to doubt yourself and you start asking yourself, well, maybe I didn't make the right decision. Because yes, the business is growing, but who am I going to be sharing this with? I miss my children, I miss my wife, I miss my partner maybe, I miss my family. And then you start to have resentment. You start to have inner pain, emotional pain. And this starts to drive your business down. So what looked like an actual up, right? You're going up, now you're suddenly going all the way down again. Because there's too much unanswered actual emotions happening, okay? It's the same as sometimes you break up with somebody, let's say your first girlfriend, second girlfriend, and you feel really good the week. You're like, I don't need her, like everything's gonna be great, whatever, I'm gonna find somebody else. And then a week later, you catch yourself feeling pain, emotional pain, because at the end of the day, that's not really what you wanted to do. And it's the same with your family. Yes, you can leave, you can ignore everybody, but at the end of the day, you will still have to face yourself. And you will have to challenge yourself. And that's what most of us fear to do. When you are looking up and saying, no, you know what, actually I could manage with my family. I could do much better. I have done much better, but I didn't. And now this is catching up and your business is going down. On the opposite side, second perspective, is you work this out with your family. Now because things are working with your family, your energy is uplifted because everything is working at home. Now because everything's working at home, everything starts to work even more in the business. Because now you start to really realize that, hey, systems are what actually saved me. Things and schedules and communication was really saved my relationship and my family, and we are in a much better place. So maybe I should transfer that inside of my business. And now your business explodes, right? With the right systems. So there's always two perspectives. One perspective, you may win in a short term, temporarily, but not permanently, not long term, because you always will have that emotion coming and hunting you back. But what if? What if? But when everything is working, the what if doesn't need to come back because everything is working. Now it's you building on top of the compound interest. Now you have like, hey, more things happening, better, we improve, better, and you're building from there. And that's when you really start to see the changes. So yes, you need to have the right systems. So the business system you actually need. If your business eats all your time, that's not success, that's operational failure. You need predictable acquisition, clear delivery, SOPs, decision frameworks, delegation, capacity limits, operation systems. Because if your business depends on you for everything, your family eventually pays for that design. And that's not really fair. So at the start in my business, you know what, I was doing everything. I was doing the communication, I was jumping on the sales calls, closing the clients, onboarding them, fulfilling them, doing everything. But guess what happens? Because that is happening day in and day out consistently, your family is paying for it, because that's how you have designed your business from the beginning. Because your business has been designed that it needs all of your time, or otherwise the business won't grow, now you need to give all of your time. And because you're giving all your time to your business, you can't give some of your time to actual family. And that becomes the problem. Your family doesn't want all of your time, but they want some of your time. And it's really important. And the problem usually begins when you can give some of that time. And that usually happens when there is no system operation protocols inside of your business. So if you look at your business and you're like, hey, client acquisition, there's a lot of effort there's a lot of energy, I don't have ads, emails, I don't have content working for me, I don't have these things working for me, it's mostly like effort driven and I have to do it, then that's what's currently is happening, right? If you say, hey, most content has to be created every single day, I have to catch up with the clients and everything, well then it's really that your entire business is energy driven. it's like a phone, right? If you can only charge your phone at home and suddenly you run out of the battery in the middle of, let's say, town, or you are in a center and city center and you don't have a charger, now you need to be looking for a plan B where to get a charger. But if you have a battery bank with you, you can actually charge. So that's a system. I actually took a battery bank with me, so if I'm running low on battery, I actually can attach my battery bank to my phone and now my phone is going to charge. That's one way system. Another system is like maybe I have a mobile phone shop where I can walk in and charge my phone. There's a lot of things, right? These are called systems. So your business also needs to have a system in place. You need to have consistently a system attracting actual leads. You need to have conversion around it as well, so it's systemized. You need to also have consistently delivery, so it's actually standardized delivery, where you have SOPs around your onboarding templates. You have all the processes standardized. Nothing is custom made, and it doesn't depend on the client how long is it going to take to actually fulfill the client, or how long is it going to take to actually onboard. Around your decision making, you're looking at actual numbers, not just making emotional decisions. So you're actually looking at numbers, you're looking at data, what you actually have. Then around your culture, you have processes, training processes, the right process inside the business so you can actually grow your business. If you don't have systems inside your business, if you don't have decision-making systems inside the business where you don't have to randomly think about decision you're making, but it's actually already custom, it's already designed, it's already systemized, and you can make it by design, then you are just going to waste a lot of your time in the business. You need to have systems inside the business. Even for your team, they need to have systems. What happens when an escalation happens? What happens when we make decisions? What decisions they can make by themselves? What decisions they cannot make by themselves? What scope are they capable of handling? What scope do I need to come in? So like this all needs to be designed. It has to be systemized. If it's not systemized, that's where your family starts to really pay the price for it. Listen, I still want a huge business. I still want wealth. I still want to build for generations. I still want to become best version of myself every single day. But I don't want my daughters remembering me as the busy father. I don't want my wife remembering me as physically there but mentally actually absent or never actually there. And I don't want success to become an excuse for neglect, because freedom isn't doing whatever you want. Freedom is doing important things with the people you love, when you want, how you want. And that requires systems too. If your business is growing, but your life feels more chaotic, I want you to go to my Instagram. It's below in the actual description, the link to my Instagram, and DM me the word roadmap. I will send you my scaling 100K roadmap, because growth should create more freedom for you, not quietly take away the things you are currently building for. So go to my Instagram, DM me the word roadmap. I will send you my 100K a month roadmap totally for free. I have mapped out the entire stages, anywhere between, you could be sitting 10 all the way to 100K. What exactly is broken, how to actually fix, and how to make sure that you save not only time inside of your business, but you have the right systems to gain more time and more leverage inside of your business. All you need to do is just go to my Instagram, DM me the word roadmap, and I'm gonna send it to you for free. If you really enjoyed this video, because this is a very sensitive video, this is a video that not a lot of business owners speak about. If you really enjoyed, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel. I post content 1 to 3 times a week, long form content, educational, but not only educational, diagnosis as well. I diagnose a lot of businesses, show you exactly what systems need to be installed so you can actually grow and scale your business. When you subscribe to my channel, you're not only gonna get the content, right? But you're also gonna get the way of thinking of your actual business. And most importantly, you will help others to get my content so we can actually help them to scale their businesses and save their families.